Hello, folks. This is the Beat Poet, Bruce Wright, from the other side of the pond in merry old USA. Not so merry with this COVID-19 craziness and the lunatic Orange Julius Caesar, number 45, running our country. It's quite an insanity. But yes, I'm sitting in nature right now, actually in my backyard. I've got some poetry to share with you. I'm also an activist. I work with Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign and also Refuge. And we fight for the rights of homeless folks and also support efforts like Compass Children's Charity and the work they're doing and the wonderful work they're doing. And we're so honored to be with Punk for the Homeless, Eagle, and Alan, and Rachel, and all the performers. This is just a real awesome treat. And normally I have a band that's backing me, so I guess nature's backing me today, but it's all good. I'm going to start off with a poem that I wrote because of a friend of mine passing away not too long ago. Very young man, talented musician, was actually in both my punk band, which is Slow Belly, and also my poetry collective, Refuge Beat Poets Collective. And unfortunately, he was tragically murdered at the age of 25. Played guitar, bass, drums, just an amazing musician. And a lot of serious problems with the drug situation and things that he was dealing with, but he was an amazing young man. This is called Taken Before Your Time. Another victim of the war that I so abhor, down to the core, a situation you can't ignore. The lost before time. The lost before their time. It's such a crime to lose such a gift before its time. The talent so immense, without pretense. They cross the fence from death to life, or from life to death. The knife cuts so deep you can't hide how you feel as you reel from such loss. Such pain, it's so insane, this war on drugs. Its casualties, the realities we must face as we embrace yet another one gone, another one gone. We must be drawn into the fight as we struggle to fight against another one's life now ended. While many pretended that it's not so bad, and yet it's so sad. It makes me mad. It makes me mad how someone so young dies. And the lies continue that this war is not so bad. But people are had and deceived, believed that it won't happen to me. But can't you see? Can't you hear the plea? Don't go down this way. Hear what we say. Don't make another roll at the dice. Heed our advice before you pay the price of robbing the planet of a life taken for granted. So talented and gifted, just sifted away. Such sadness to such madness. This life draining thing. Does it not ring in your head? He's now gone, no longer here to play the song. It's wrong. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. Thank you. This one's called They're Killing Us. And we believe that genocide is happening of homeless and poor people around the world. And it's a war on the poor. And maybe even this current crisis is tied into that. Who knows? They're killing us. They're killing us. They're killing us, I tell you. While some discuss why all the fuss as we're carted off to camps while it's so damp. They clamp down in the name of progress while they profess they possess a heart, saying and playing this game to defame our name, saying these homeless are a nuisance to society. With such impropriety and piety, these powers that be, blinded by greed, will not concede. Both Democrats and Republicans defend their point to a point and consigned by cruel design. Let's clean up the streets. They brag of their feats, but there will come a day that we will rise. We they despise. We'll devise a plan and fan the flames. We they despise. We rise up and disrupt this corrupt system. The army of the poor will roar like the Lion of Judah, like the Lion of Judah, and tear down the wall of the city hall and create a new day, a new day, a new day, a new way to save humanity, to have our say, and come what may, we won't be defeated until it's completed, until it's done, and that powerful and conceited ones will pay for all who they've mistreated. They will be unseated. Mark my word, mark my word. We will be heard. People over profit. We won't be killed. Our needs fulfilled, as we, the people, no longer dead, but all well fed. Shout out to Alex listening right now, and Alan and Eagle and everyone listening. I'm sitting in my backyard. I'm actually with my good friend Kirby the pig. I don't know if you can see him. Can send that back to to Eagle with his copper hat on. We have a fond word for them in this country too, related to that poor animal over there. All right, well, this is called the frustration. The frustration of a nation divided, undecided. It's pathetic. They're so apathetic. What we do or accept, we've no concept of how to revolt as they halt our efforts to organize. So the size of our revolution is small. An evolution of change moves and grooves while our foe grows strong. We can't get along. The throng. The masses sit on their asses as this crass and morass cabal from the corporate hall thinks they win. Their sin is their conceit. We will rise in defeat while we meet their end they can't defend. So let's not pretend or play the game, but put to shame their name as we join each other, sister, brother, father, mother, friend, to send them to darkness, to the abyss. We show the starkness between their weakness, our strength of resolve to evolve from our differences of view. We now renew to see it through. We who understand and demand our place, we plead our case to end, not defend, the frustration. Thank you. Sometimes it seems like there's no hope. We're looking at what's going on around us, and it can be really discouraging, and in fact can make us not want to do anything anymore to fight. And I want to thank Punk for the Homeless and Compass Charity for being out there and fighting. Also want to give a shout out to our friends Abdul in Sierra Leone, if he's listening, and Jean-Francois in Haiti, and to all my friends. The hope is resistance. The hope is resistance. The hope is resistance with a persistence and insistence. We are at zero-sum gain, and it's pain we must feel to lead to a zeal, to make an appeal, to stand up and rebel and give them hell, and repel those forces and change courses, using our resources to disrupt and disturb the powers that curb and minimize those that defies what is laid before the masses, the classes of the oppressed and dispossessed, repressed by the jackbooted thugs who sit on high as they lie in wait to observe our fate, as all are about the collapse of empire, comes with fire, led by a liar with a tire of the rich. We're digging a ditch, a hole that we're falling into with no way out. So we stand and shout as we rout those that tout make America great again. But as empire is declining, an empire does not resign the citizen to no control of both the soul and whole of community. Thus, with impunity, the unity of all does fall to destruction, unless an insurrection of the bottom rises up to disrupt the structures of oligarchy, falls to the anarchy of resistance, who leads with a hope of change to rearrange the pieces in the chess game of life, to change all strife, insert a new possibility of each to their ability. The end of greed, and to each as they need. And now let's take the lead to march to a new line of march, a new line of march, a new direction, guided by insurrection. Well, I've got a couple more, and I just want to tell you that it's up to us. We can stand by and allow things to be as they are, or we can get behind and move forward and fight with all our might for the dispossessed, for the oppressed, for the mistreated. This one's called conflict resolution. Conflict resolution, a dissolution of solution to the pollution in our thinking, an end to the shrinking feeling, that sinking feeling as you're shrinking away from the fray of what people say, to sway you to another view that's nothing new, to attempt to be true to self and others, to any ideas that smothers sisters and brothers, to view nature in harmony with others and itself, to put on the shelf the need to be right, to end the fight, to concede any need to lead or feed any greed or narrow creed, to no longer bleed or breed hate, to wait and let go of the weight, the burden of all this certainty. It's to embrace and to face our fears, both far and near. It's to hear, to listen with discipline from within and without, both faith and doubt. To route and change all the range of all the emotions and notions that come to our head, to put to rest and bed what we've fed, what we've been told, to embrace a new, bold agenda outside propaganda, to hold on to something new, to conjure and brew refreshing, cool drink of life without strife. Conflict resolution. Well, I've got one last poem I want to share, and I again thank everyone for allowing me to be on. It's rough out there. It's tough on the streets, and if anybody recognizes that, certainly these children around the world recognize that. This is called The Gritty Streets. The gritty streets, replete with heroic feats of people trying to survive as they strive to stay alive in an environment so hostile as the bodies pile up and death grows. Where this will go, no one knows, but as people in the throes of dying, they're still trying to be defying. As the odds are stacked by a system so whacked, people constantly jacked by injustice and pain, an endless refrain that drains and drains and drains. It's so insane. The sense of defect, the sense of defeat, as the seat of power it towers, as the people cower in fear. Can't you hear their cries? Can't you hear their cries? Does it even make you sigh? This sadness and endless madness goes on and on and on and on. Will it ever dawn on us as we continue to discuss, never with any resolution or move to revolution? Our contribution is to sit on the sideline as they design, their plans are laid, the people betrayed, sold down the river. Does it make you shiver as the pundits deliver their blow, their foe destroyed, their tools deployed? It's no longer annoyed. It's no longer employed. It's no longer avoided. The gritty streets. Well, guys, thank you so much for having me on. I don't know if my time is up. I'm looking at my little watch here. And it's been exciting to be on this live stream. I think I have time for a couple more, or at least one more poem. I'll read one more poem. It's a little bit, I guess, less depressing, but nonetheless, it is real. Usually my poems actually go a little bit longer than this one. I have my band, but these are the lyrics in the raw, the poetry in the raw. This one's called Cypress Trees. Cypress trees are a tree, by the way, that's common to the South, particularly the Gulf states, so-called Gulf states, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida. Anyway, it's called cypress trees. Cypress trees blow and bend, nothing to contend with but the breeze that sets you at ease and frees you with blue skies. It complies to its connection with all that's around. It does not compound or complicate, but it flows with its fate, never carrying the weight. It just waits as it contemplates its cycle of life, not without strife, as it knows when dark clouds come from the sky, it's time to apply what it can't deny, the need to adapt, to show it's apt, to see its role, to fill in the hole, of its relationship to all, so it does not fall, but heeds the call of the wild. The call of the wild, the call of nature, its role to nurture the deep ecology. Its biology projects a theology of place. It makes its case to be a part, to help the heart of all. Its being almost seeing what's ahead. A planet might be dead. Nonetheless, it interacts and intercedes as all nature pleads for humanity to stop its profanity of the insanity of destruction. Humans not seeing their function, to do as the cypress trees do, to go with the flow of what they know, that to embrace the face of what we see, to hear its plea. Well, I don't have much more. Normally I'll try to do a what you call in the beat poet world a freestyle, and I was debating about doing it, and I don't know that usually at least my daughter is backing me on drums, and it's kind of different doing it this way, but what the heck? I'll give it a whirl. I'll look around. I'll see what is happening around me. So many long to be free, but this virus is taking away what we may do in the fray to move and fight with all our might, to stop the pain, the suffering, the hurt that's happening all around us. Too often we discuss rather than make a fuss. Too often we don't fight and see the light and stop the night, but instead we move ourselves into a direction of insurrection is what we should be. But can we do that? I don't know. Too often it's a show. It's a show that we try to play before others, our sisters and brothers, rather than be real and unseal and break down and use everything we can to fan the flames of revolution. Not just an evolution, but a revolt. A revolt that's from the bottom up to disrupt this corrupt situation. it is up to us whether we choose to fight or we sit on the sidelines and consign ourselves to nothingness, or we rise up. We rise up to disrupt. Well, that's about it. Thank you, guys. This was awesome. Punk for the Homeless. Shout out to everybody there. Compass Children's Charity, and to all my friends around the world. Thank you, and God bless.